Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Time for game number 3. It's the first time we've been able to say that here in ESL One Genting SEA qualifiers, but it is between Clutch Gamers and Fire Dragoon. We thought this was going to happen, and now it has. Skim, let's get right into it.
I'm happy. Game 3, first time in this SEA qualifiers.
10 seconds.
A bit unfortunate that we had two rather one-sided games thus far. You know, I was kind of looking forward to a more competitive, longer game, but of course we've had, you know, both teams sort of, you know, in the first game was Clutch Gamers and the second game was Fire Dragoon. Sort of just having a really solid laning stage, and from there on out just snowballing out of control, and the other team was just unable to do anything. So
10 seconds remaining.
I want to say both teams should have learned from that lesson, and going into the game 3, we're going to see a different sort of like approach. Maybe have much more stable lanes and maybe a definite fallback potential, but who knows? I mean, we've also seen both teams make the mistake, so maybe they'll do it again.
I mean, it's only how these kind of series goes. Like, stomp the one way, stomp the other way, and then the third game's just this really high-octane, highly competitive finale, essentially, to the series. So, I don't know. Might see that. Might see just one team, even outdrafting the other. Who knows, really. For now, we've seen some familiar faces. The Earth Spirit, the Clockwork, now the Shadow Demon as well. I've had that in game 1, I believe, for Fire Dragoon as well. So they're going back to the old standard, having the defensive support to work with, and perhaps even set up for the Clockwork here, depending on where he ends up, or whether that's the 3 role or still the 4 position.
10 seconds
I like that they go back for the Clockwork. I do think that this Clockwork in the last game was a huge part of why they did so well. He went, like, you know, it's one thing to do well in the laning stage, but it's also another thing to sort of like transition that into a really successful mid game, and he did just that, right? He not necessarily controlled the mid game, but he just did a really good job at making sure that whenever Hookshot was available, he was always going to be a threat. Yeah, a couple of times they didn't really work out, and the enemy got away, but generally speaking, he just did what he had to do. And together with the Shadow Demon now, Shadow Demon not necessarily as strong as the Earth Spirit in terms of like killing potential, right? But definitely still a lot of kill potential. I mean, still sufficient kill potential with the Soul Catcher, with the demonic Perch. There's a lot of ways to still target single, well, to kill single targets. And of course, as mentioned earlier in the series, Shadow Demon is a good defensive support in case you do want a traditional hard carry like the Dusa that you need to protect at some point.
Alright, Clutch Gamers, they're taking some extra time to think about their second pick. Like, I think about going back for some core, maybe switch it up a little bit. Who knows? Like, we're gonna find out now. The Shadow Shaman. So, again, first 2 picks focused on the support lineup instead, and it's a pretty good one as far as we're concerned, right? I mean, Earth Spirit, the classic rolling 4, turning into a lot of extra crowd control that you have in the end, and then the Shadow Shaman to provide you with a push component, extra. Extra card control between the Hex and the Shackles in particular. And
we've seen, what was it, Geekfam use this hero really, really well.
Yeah.
Shadow Shaman, excellent hero if you can play him well. You know, he's just going to have so much teamfight control, so much sort of like gank potential as well, and the push potential. I mean, we saw Geekfam just walk uphill, drop the wards, chip at the tower, and just run away again.
Yeah.
Can totally do that. Yeah, sure, you give a little bit of money back to the opponents, but it doesn't really matter as long as you take that map control.
Yeah.
So Shadow Shaman, a good pickup, and once again, Clutch Gamers, both I suppose both Clutch Gamers and Fire Dragoon in a way sort of, you know, go for this like easy pickups with the supports. We did see Fire Dragoon turn the Clockwork into an offlaner last game. Doesn't have to be, could technically be support. And if it is a support, it's a strong combo. You set up with a disruption, walk up to the enemy, and just cog them up.
Yeah.
Dire team pick.
Oh, basically, it's as easy as it gets, right? Plenty of time without disruption. And that also depends on having solo laners that don't require babysitting by either one of these. So you're thinking about here like Weaver, even Medusa to some extent, like Juggernaut that we've seen before in these qualifiers as well.
10 seconds
wouldn't actually hate that hero for Clutch Gamers, honestly. Doesn't really care too much about being gone on by the Clockwork. You can just spin it out to dodge most of the damage. Syncs up well with the Shadow Shaman in lane. Just a very flexible, solid core that they can fall back on, even as a third pick if they want to.
I think in general, both teams really want heroes right now that can survive the initial onslaught, so to speak. Looks like Fire Dragoon are going to go with the offlane Clockwork and half the Rubik as a support.
Yeah.
The one issue I have with this Rubik, and that we've seen earlier, is that it can really be dead weight in a lot of ways. Right now, what is the roaming from Fire Dragoon in the early game? It's a Shadow Demon and Rubik,
10 seconds
or like either of those heroes. It's not really that great, right? And
Yeah.
they're not even that good of like lane
5
support, like
seconds remaining.
Bane-esque heroes that can just sit in the mid lane and just zone the opponent out.
Yep.
So this Rubik could really backfire, I think. And
Yeah, I mean, in the later stage, both of them are setup heroes, right? They don't provide that extra bit of damage. So that's why I sometimes see these type of heroes comboed up with heroes like Ancient Apparition, who provide that extra bit of damage in one way or another. Either just through Cold Feet, which is quite nice, but most importantly, the Chilling Touch. So either you have that or even something else.
Dire team
And
pick.
without that, you're gonna have much harder time to actually convert it into kills, unless you have like a really hyper-aggressive early game core hero, like even a Vengeful Spirit, if you want to look for that, or Gyrocopter would come to mind. Even Luna, just with Lucent Beam, might just be enough to put you over the edge. So we'll see if they want to go
10
back for that,
seconds
or if they
remaining.
want to just take it on the chin and go into these
5
this
seconds
farming
remaining.
cores that we've seen pick up by most
Radiant
teams these
team
days.
pick.
But now it's DODs.
they're going to go back for the OD.
Yeah.
It did work out for them in the previous game. It was a fantastic pick. They have a lot of ways to sort of set the OD up for kills, right? They do have the lift and just lift the target and OD kills them. They have the
10
cogs.
seconds remaining.
Now, there's a lot of ways to create space for the OD. And in a lot of ways, he can also
5
assist his own
seconds
team. I mean, I mentioned
remaining.
earlier
Team
the
back.
Astral Imprisonment is a good way to sort of like defensively save a hero. So if you get initiated on, you just imprison them, or you disrupt them. So there's like two very easy defensive
Yeah.
options here. And he is technically a natural counter against the CK and against the Phantom Illusions with his orb. But that said, CK has so much physical
10
burst that in a lot of ways he doesn't
remaining.
necessarily care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can technically chip away those illusions, but if he
5
jumps you,
seconds
you're not going to have the
remaining.
chance to do so.
Oh yeah.
So in that way, I do not hate the CK pickup thus far, but I feel like right now their cores, not necessarily greedy, but in a way I think I want something
Radiant
either to
team
complement
back.
aggression or something that could potentially even do more so than them. Because Doom and CK, as aggressive as they may be, they still need a certain amount of farm. The CK.
Yeah.
I think a lot of CK builds these days, you know, they do consider the Midas very early on, and if they can't afford the Midas
10
early on, they
seconds
just fall back
remaining.
to the armlet, and then, you know, they still need farm.
5
You
seconds
need to
remaining.
keep up with the other heroes. So, in that sense, I kind of want something that, again, ideally just is more aggressive, and they do need a mid
Yep.
laner against the OD,
Radiant
right?
team
So they probably
pick.
need something along the lines of a Razor potentially. Razor is a really sort of like good balance here. It can be really aggressive early on, but it can also fall back as a to farm.
Yep.
We've seen a lot of like teams play him as a one position even, and he's just a natural counter to the OD lane.
Yeah. Can't really make good use of the Astral Imprisonment
10
if with the
seconds
static
remaining.
link it goes through that one way or the other. So that would be an option. The other one
5
would be
seconds
Viper, I
remaining.
guess, as a classic mid lane dominator. This can still match up quite decently well against the OD. And the good thing that Cloud Gamers have is with the Earthbound and Shadow Shaman, that's the right kind of supporting lineup that you have to be able to support this kind of mid hero, right? To give them the backing that they need to create that space. And then eventually, once you get past that point, once Chaos Knight has that basic amount of farm and levels as well, where you can just start pressing Phantasm and then pressing Q and W onto somebody to just delete them. That's where it becomes really scary, because then you also have the Doom. That's something the Clutch Gamers didn't really have in that last game, which is the ability to equalize the net worth advantages or disadvantages in some senses within a team fight, right? In this game, though, you press Doom on OD, that hero gets fucking useless. Right? Excuse my language, but that's really what it is.
10 seconds
That's
remaining.
what Doom is, really. Is a spell and
He deletes a hero.
And a hero, yeah.
5
It just
seconds remaining.
takes it out of the fight entirely. And considering that right now OD is the only real damage output, that could be more than enough to put them over the edge here, just depending on what Fire Dragoon now pick up as a safe laner.
Yeah, right now I think I mean technically they could put the OD in the safe lane again if they wanted to. That's what they did, of course, in the last game. You know, had the Jakira mid instead. They need something that can fight. I think they need something that can fight, because the OD is not going to fight in the mid game. They need something that can fight, that can take the fight to the opponent's I'm thinking of something along the lines of a PA, but I think PA is really bad in this game just because if you jump them with a PA, you just, you get shackled, you get doomed, it's over. But something along those lines, not necessarily something that puts yourself in harm's way as easily. It's difficult to think of something right now. I wonder if Ember Spirit could work. Potentially, it gets trashed by the sniper, but in a way, it's pretty good against the CK, of course, and can go in and out. Alright, I'm gonna go Terrorblade.
Okay.
I guess. Oh, I feel like this lineup is too passive. I think Fire Dragoon's lineup is too passive. Both TB and TB can push. TB can push early lanes. That's definitely something they have going for them. But I feel like they could just get overrun, technically speaking. Sniper does need time to come online himself. But Doom, CK, they could play really aggressively early on with, drums on the Doom, for example, and they just run down a lane. And if they group up to push, what does Fire Dragoon do against that?
Yeah. I feel like Fire Dragoon, they do have a timing available to them, but it's a bit of a fragile one because it does rely on this Terrorblade using Metamorphosis to, as you said, push down these towers and basically be scary enough for Dutch gamers not to want to go into that. At the same time, Doom is as effective up against Terrorblade almost as it is against OD because you prevent the Thunder for sure. And even though he has very high armor, which is going to be useful against the Chaos Knight, if you get doomed, all of this other damage that will fly out in the chaos of a team fight will eventually chip him down through that very low health pool that he has. So that will only be mitigated once you go into these big stat items like Skadi and whatnot, what Terrorblades want to pick up eventually. So it's a bit scary in that sense.
The thing is, Doom is always going to be scary, right? But in a lot of ways, getting that Doom off can be much more difficult than it should be. Just because, there's tons of illusions, there's tons of heroes to sort of be in the front line. They also have defensive capabilities, so even if somebody does get doomed, they still have the disruption and the astral imprisonment to sort of, mitigate the damage. But in general, Doom is definitely going to be a scary hero here. And if the game ever goes really late, it's going to be the key to success for the Radiant. But generally speaking, I do think they could just try to play hyper aggressive in the laning stage, and just force fights or force tower pushes. And once the Shaman hits level 6 and they group around the Shaman, maybe have drums, maybe have Vlads available on the Doom. I'm not sure what the Dire do against that. Their supports, I think their supports are really weak right now in the laning stage.
Yeah.
They could potentially play a little bit aggressively, Shadow Shaman, Shadow Demon. Wait, is that a?
Oh yeah, that is core Shadow Demon, isn't it?
Core Shadow Demon.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah.
You know what?
Whoa.
You know what? That I like. I think this gives them more aggression, and the support Clockwork gives them much more aggression in the laning stage. I like this. All
right. Only has that one clarity, and you'll want to turn out Mango into a stick, or a wand, I should say.
I looked at the 10 tangos. What kind of support buys 10 tangos? It doesn't hold them to his cores. But then I see the Mango. Oh, it's a core Shadow Demon. But I had to confirm first by clicking onto the Clockwork.
Yeah, with the boots first. So I'm really curious to see how that works out in pro game. I've only ever seen it being successful in pubs with my friends. But
Pasha did it for VP at the summit. It was it owned.
Yeah,
it really owned. He was 14, 1, and 3 or 7. It's ridiculous.
That's pretty strong, yeah. But I haven't watched those games, unfortunately. So we'll see how they can do it. Mid lane, we have this fast measure. Sniper also one of these that can kind of deal with the OD, especially with Earthbird helping out to some extent. Misses the roll, unfortunately, but what can you do? Rotate in the Rubik, I guess, but it's not really the ideal hero for this scenario. You don't really trade.
I think the strength of the, just to quickly talk about the hero. I think the strength of the mid lane. They're not going to give me time to talk about this, are they?
Doesn't look like it.
All right.
Another roll in. This time, just counterplayed with the imprisonment.
As well. They shouldn't be able to kill this. All right. Offlane Shadow Demon. I think one of the strengths about this hero and running him as a core position is because his abilities are actually pretty strong and they scale pretty well, which is often overlooked. And that illusion, that Soul Catcher illusion, yeah, it's at level 10 now, but honestly, before that, it's not even that strong. But if you have it, it's super, super strong. Imagine killing the CK, but then having a CK illusion that you can push towers with.
Yeah.
Right? It is really, really strong. Oh, they go on to Shadow Demon.
Stun can still come out here and is top of the roll from Try. Nice little cogs there to isolate the Radiant heroes from the Dire ones. Lead their way through, and Chappie does not quite have another spell until just now, and he stays in range for the Chaos Bolt. If he wants it, there it is. Clockwork trying to do what he can, but another EL to drag it back. First blood will be claimed here by Clutch Games in this bottom lane. Now Disaster's actually also a lot of trouble himself with another roll connecting. Fly Solo out of mana, even if he had it. He still needs level 2 for the Shackles, as he went for the Ether Shock level 1 to just try and zone, and now he's being run down. Boots first, Clockwork extremely fast. Now another Battery Assault. Should maybe secure the counter kill. Oh, the plays! Fly Solo trying to go for it. Planting down a tree, but bought himself enough time for another drag back the roll. Just off the mark here this time from Try. Lucky for him that the Battery Assault has expired since, so he's not quite gonna fall to the Shadow Poison the extra couple of right clicks. That was so close though.
One last thing on the Shadow Demon offline, his talents are actually pretty strong. Demonic Purge is an incredibly strong ability. Aghanim Scepter is really strong on him, and with the level 25 talent, having additional damage for the Demonic Purge is huge.
Yeah.
So that is actually a lot of kill potential. Speaking of kill potential, that's Shadow Shaman.
Got a nice off the creeps here. He tried. He couldn't quite do it. Disaster with a well-timed punch. The only reason he is in that position is because he stole that bounty rune off the other side of the river. So, greed, not always good in that sense.
Mid lane, Sniper versus OD, very even matchup at the moment. Could go. I don't think it ever goes into OD's favor just because Sniper has that range.
Yeah.
But I've definitely seen this matchup be very Sniper favored as well. I do think that I don't think it has to be Sniper favored. I do think that there's a lot of things that OD can do that Sniper just can't prevent. I mean, we're seeing this, right? There's always the 1 or 2 last hits that OD is definitely going to get just because of the Astral Imprisonment.
Especially if you secured it on the range keeps, just making sure that you're not really absolutely going to lose the lane. And
Sniper can never really use Shrapnel to really harass, or he can never use more than 1 charge, because you want to keep the charges for when the OD for when the Earth Spirit comes around.
Yeah.
When he does come around, it sets up a nice kill. He is in the mid lane, or he was close to the mid lane, but it's actually the Clockwork that's coming in.
Yeah.
But they can't dive him underneath the tower. Or can they? Are they? Oh, with a creep wave. No, with a creep wave they can, yeah.
They are going to, yeah. 1 Shrapnel is down already. Just gonna throw in another one. Disaster will fall here before they get him to kill. Another roll will also connect. Headshots galore. Another Shrapnel. The Fly Solo doesn't have to break the Invis rune, so... they didn't quite do the math right there, right? I mean, like...
It could, I think the idea was nice, you know, pushing in the wave and then pushing the Sniper together with the creep, with the creeps, and hoping that or relying on the creeps to tank the tower. But that rotation from the Earth Spirit was on point. I think if the Earth Spirit doesn't TP there, they probably get the kill. Maybe they trade the Clockwork still, but it would have been worth it for sure. But yeah, very unfortunate for them, but also a really good rotation from the Radiant here.
This is already like a completely different game for this guy. Like, he was a Night Stalker in the last game and didn't really get anything done, but right now, 5 minutes in, already 2 assists, and you really feel his impact right now. Just showing up in every single lane, nice little double stun. Only still low levels, so it's not as devastating as it could be in later, but it might just be enough here with the extra Infernal Blade. Already up to level 2 is just straight up running down a Terror Blade. And, well, and another one for the road, I guess, because Fly Solo also says hello.
This is what I was afraid of when I saw the draft, and even though they do have a support Clockwork, I still think that this draft has a weakness, and it's just getting run over like this.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of aggression that the Radiant can put out that the Dire just can deal with, and this is only going to get worse once they hit certain levels, right? This is pre level 6 Doom. This is pre level 5 First Spirit.
Oh, lane. He might be in a bit of trouble, Fly Solo though, with the Shackles. Make sure the Clockwork can right-click the release, but 3 stacks of poison already, not quite enough to bring him down at the end. It does have another salve available, but that's kind of the one downside. This Shadow Demon offlane just still throwing out a lot of pressure. Chappie feels very uncomfortable going close to the lane, even with the max charges on his magic stick.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, there's only so much these charges can do, right? And it's just really difficult on the shadow to deal. to deal with the Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
Shadow Demon just really annoying. He actually also does a fairly good amount of just right-click damage, honestly. All top lane.
Yep.
Saitama finds the solo Rubik, and this should be a kill here.
But with a Scorch, trying to bring him back, that might be enough unless he wants to dive. Only 1 point up into it. Not the craziest amount of region, so it doesn't risk it. But meanwhile, okay. They went again on the Chaos Knight dump bottom. This time Fly Solo unable to help out. So, how's this gonna work out? Because middle lane is still going quite well for the sniper. Top lane, this Doom is just doing whatever he wants in this lane, right? He's getting his levels. Can they then turn around and create more space for the Chaos Knight that's being pressured so hard down here?
For sure. They definitely can, and they definitely will. They have both supports down here. Unfortunate because the ward actually scouted the rotation, so they're not gonna catch off this Shadow Demon.
Or will they? Reality Rift into the stun, follow-up is there for Uspert. Nice little cog, so gets the mana burn on 2 and mass TPs coming through. Brian as well as the Terrorblade has been interrupted. TP out from Try and Chappie actually falls. Unfortunate here.
But that's why I don't think they should have gone for it in the first place. They, even if those TPs don't come in, you're still diving in past the Tier 1 tower.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I do think there's a lot of opportunity, or there are going to be a lot of opportunities for the Radiant to alleviate the pressure from the CK. The Earth Spirit and the Shadow Shaman have a lot of kill potential together with the Doom. Speaking of Doom, he used the Doom on the Terrorblade.
He did indeed, and can he provide that extra bit of damage? He's trying to juke into the trees again and back out, but another Infernal Blade will make sure that he dies. Maybe not, the Alacrity coming through with a defensive imprisonment. They bring down a Doom. Damage over time is not going to be enough. Just timing out in the end of that, imprisonment. Oh, we were talking about that,
really bad.
And it's just the perfect timing at this point. I think it was even a haste rune to make sure that he got there in time, right?
I believe so as well. If he gets that kill, it is so huge for this team, because a solo kill with a first Doom, I don't know, just the experience from it would already be so worth it. And again, it would alleviate a lot of pressure, because then the Terrorblade just needs more babysitting, right? You need to rotate the support. I mean, the Clockwork already did rotate, of course, but unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. But together with this Earth Spirit, maybe they can go for this. Like they're
try again.
But he does have Sunder.
Yeah.
This is not going to be an easy kill. They need to change.
They don't want the silence. Doesn't have it just yet, I don't think. No.
And then I don't even know why they tried to go for this kill.
Mistakes were made. Lose 2 heroes.
Yeah. And suddenly we go from, oh yeah, can they take away this pressure from this CK to, well, can they get anything?
Yeah. Just lost so much momentum here. Yeah. Give him 3 kills to the Terrorblade in short succession like that. I mean, look at his net worth, 4.1k. Second highest on a net worth share. Sniper is still doing extremely well himself. 2 kills on his own belt, and that lasted advantage, giving him 1200 gold more than UOD. But that might change now as well. Bryant starting to walk his way through. Disaster already in the field, and yeah, that's an easy setup. No help coming his way today. Trying to do whatever damage he can with the shrapnels. Super annoying, but ultimately not enough. At the same time, down bottom, Chaos Knight ended up dropping too. Well,
this is not looking good for the Radiant, really. This is almost spiraling out of control. Like, we go from kill to kill to kill to kill. Just everything is going against them. I mean, we're just talking about the sniper who's doing really well. Highest net worth, and then they just go for the gank.
I cursed them there. I'm sorry about that, but
this is not looking good for them. They do have that. I mean, obviously we're very far from GG, but you know they still have a lot of ways to sort of find easy pickoffs, find easy kills. They do have the Doom, they have the Phantasm, like those sort of abilities that allow you to go for certain things, for certain objectives.
Yeah.
So by considering all of that, I don't think it's that bad for them.
That is hookshot in mid. Catches Disaster. Catches Calm Play. Disaster catches Calm Play again. And with Alacrity in the middle of that, that makes for a very easy kill. And Sunder, not this time, even though it's coming off cooldown. The Doom should be enough to bring him down. No imprisonment available, but he's far enough away, so no extra Infernal Blade. Saitama cannot get in range, and this just gotta hurt, right?
Oh, and the OG is gonna come in as well.
And Solo actually shackles up under the walls. He might even get that kill. OD doesn't find the interception. So yeah, Clockwork just dies. Play
Gets
Solo.
the kill and the tower.
And the tower.
Well played.
Seems good. And now if he...
played.
Yeah, he can't get himself out. He doesn't have a TP. I think they caught a glimpse of him. So at the very least, you can create some more space. Michael actually wastes some extra time going through the trees, but... he still gets that kill. Silver lining, and that might be all you need to just restart the heart, essentially. And stabilize.
hey,
that's all we need to do right now.
It's more money for the rest of the team, right? Taking the tower.
Yeah.
And it forced the rotation for sure. Like the OD had to walk all the way up there as well, you know, giving the snipers some space. It's just concerning that CK can't stand in lane solo against this Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
And you can see already he has the armor queued up. He's not even considering the Midas anymore. It would be what, like a 17-minute Midas at this point, at this rate?
Yeah, it's really not worth it.
Or like a 15-minute Midas, I guess.
Yeah, it takes forever to just pay off then.
On lane.
Mids.
Nice
Alright, they're gonna go slow, but nice little force stuff here already up and running. For the OD, now the Cogs nicely placed after the hook shot here. Nice stun there as well though from the Earth Split. Faisal coming in with the shackles. They trade 1 for 1 so far. Big hammer though. Calm player. Oh, almost looked like he died to his own shrapnel there, but that was a zap.
He pinged it as well. Like, wait, this isn't my own shrapnel?
Yeah.
No. Why have you forsaken me? Oh no, CK is getting hunted down by the Shadow Demon. He just chased him to this top lane. CK tried to escape, but it wasn't meant to be.
So
and with
silly.
this, he should probably die. Well, with that he definitely dies.
Alright. Again, you gotta find a way to stabilize, but this kind of stuff doesn't necessarily help. They looked like they could make a good turnaround happen. I mean, first bit before he got imprisoned again or something, he got a pretty good stun off. Maybe if they had to magnetize, they get a few extra return kills there, but he's just not high level enough just yet.
Yeah, they definitely need to magnetize. And if they have that, it sounds so easy when I say that, right? But I want them to smoke together with the Doom, try and go for a kill on somebody. I just don't see the point of smoking with a sniper. What he is doing right now. I just don't think the sniper should be part of this. I feel like a sniper needs to farm, and if there's any counter potential, sniper he can easily get caught out. And there's a counter smoke actually. The 2 supports are counter smoking. This could work out in the Radiant favor though. If they see the Terrorblade here, they should be able to get the kill.
Stick around on the high ground anyway, wait for them to come back. Right now they're...
They find the real one. Easy kill.
Yeah, that is.
Alright, this was huge, getting the kill on Sniper with it. Now they have to get the hell out of here.
Radiant structures.
The rest of the Fire Dragoon don't seem to want to just rotate back to find an interception. Instead, they're just focusing on bringing down this tier 1 tower. Don't have the best ways to push, especially without a Terrorblade, but now push also being mounted in the bottom lane. They want to be ready to not make this into a trade, right? Get tier 1 mid, but don't give up tier 1 bottom. But the initiation already coming out. There's some with the magnetize. Needs to try and keep it up with extra stones, but now disruption, soul catcher onto the Doom. Still his ultimate available. Can he throw it out? Yeah, he does look like it. Onto the OD, that's the important one. Assassination will help bring him down. Needs to be denied, more than likely. Meanwhile, in the front though...
Well, they missed the deny on the OD.
So they get these 2 kills, but on front line, Sarah able to just clean house.
So the fight starts off in the worst possible way. I don't even know why the Doom is that far ahead, because he's not the guy that can actually initiate, right? They can just run up to the supports and doom them. Huge plays by the Earth Spirit, landing double stuns, double silences, triple magnetizes as well.
Yeah.
Huge plays, but unfortunately they were so far ahead, so far out. They were between towers as well. If the T1 is taken, maybe that's a different fight, but with that they were just, you know, taking tower shots as well on top of it.
Yeah.
It's just really unfortunate positioning for them. I mean, really bad positioning rather, because they knew the tower was there. They still chose to go past it. So yeah, they need to choose and pick better fights. This was the first one where they actually committed all 5 heroes for this. Yeah. And it failed horribly. They need to really choose better fights. Choose fights on your own terms and only not between towers.
It wasn't really 5 heroes, because if you look at the CK, he did 100 damage in that fight. 100. It's 16 minutes in. He doesn't even have the armor in his inventory. This hero being this low level and this low net worth just can't really do anything in these fights. Sure, it's the minus armor for the sniper to take advantage of. That's the only thing, but that's something that an offlaner should be doing, or a support player should be doing with a medallion. If your one position is reduced to that only, then you are in trouble, and really showed in that last fight in particular.
Luckily for him, though, the Armlet is coming out now, and he afterwards is going to start on Active Saber. Like, he really has to be that meaty
On lane,
one-liner.
hook shot. Assassination still from Rubik, he expert burst. He goes great. So we'll end up dropping. They have the catapult, they have the metamorphosis committed, so they will secure this tier 2 tower top lane at the same time. Alright.
They don't have a Doom just yet, and OD's just going to solo kill him.
Looking like it is having some help. Fly solo. Okay, yeah, that'll do the trick. The axe coming through. Now, what the zap from Brian? All of this right-click damage here with the stolen intelligence bring Fly solo so low.
Yeah, those overly ambitious. They're now pinging out. They're like, oh, they must have seen us rotate. But no, it was just, hey, you see the Doom? There's probably somebody behind him, right? There's no reason the Doom runs at you without Doom, without having support. So of course, they're gonna expect like some sort of support rotation.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like the Radiant are sort of desperate right now, and desperate isn't necessarily always bad. Oh, bottom lane. Can he maybe
try
redeem
that
himself?
is. A couple of crits coming through. It gets that solo kill. All right.
This must feel so good if you're Chappie.
Oh yeah.
Getting bullied all day by this goddamn Shadow Demon.
Finally getting his revenge. His first kill of the game. 5 deaths to assist. Like they're still holding on to a few extra towers. Like they have lost a tier 2 bottom. Tier 1 top is still alive. Not the most important one, but anything like that means more buffer, which translates into more time to try and catch up and get to the point where at least if you max out spells, maybe get an extra illusion from the Phantasm to have that extra punching power between that and crit damage. And we talked about it in draft, right? They have ways to turn things around. They have ways to negate the OD in particular, and all of this net worth that he has, if they find a Doom on him. He's itemizing against that now. He's starting to build into that Lincoln Sphere, but it's still gonna be a while.
It really is going to be a while. But for now, I do think that it doesn't really seem like the Doom is that big of a threat. How many Doom kills have we seen? 2? I think.
Maybe, yeah.
I think there was 1 deny.
One almost.
One not deny, but like, you know, where they prevented
top
the
lane
kill.
sniper. Blink forward into the imprisonment. There's a blink reveal, I believe, as well. It makes for a very easy kill and beat on, maybe. Maybe they can get some trades here. We'll try to come through as well as Chappie. Wants some more revenge. Defensive imprisonment now. Saitama ready to go. Doesn't even need to do it here. They have the instant attacks to Fly solo. I believe that was a Rubik shrapnel in the middle of that. Yeah,
yes.
They're still taking damage from it.
Very annoying. It's one of the best spells you can steal, really, shrapnel.
Yeah.
You just throw out all 3 charges, steal a different spell. You're good, sheep. Anyway, this game right now.
One question for you.
Yeah.
Mechanics question. If you steal shrapnel, use all 3
all
charges,
3 charges,
steal something else,
and then
steal shrapnel again.
You have all 3 charges again.
Oh my god.
I'm very sure of that, at least.
Yeah.
I don't think you. Well, it's different. I think it's different than, say, like, you know, if you steal black hole, use black hole, steal a different spell. You definitely keep the cooldown. But I believe for charged abilities, it's different.
Okay.
I mean,
wasn't it the other way, where if you restole it after stealing a different spell, you don't keep the cooldown? I thought that was how it works. Like, if you re-steal while already having it, then you don't refresh it.
I mean, I guess we could pay attention to it. I mean, he's currently at 1 charge.
Well, we'll see.
Smoke up from the Dire. They're looking for a kill. We have good vision, so they see the CK.
And they pounce hookshot right on top of Chappie. Pops the ultimate, trying to fight around the disaster and doing some damage in return, but Alacrity came through. He's getting doomed after the ultimate has already been used. Chappie
Doom stolen.
Down for the count. Oh my god, Doom stolen here. Fly solo against the Shackles. They really want to bring down this Tower Blade, and they do, and they find the other one. Alright, this is still a good fight. Rubik threw that Doom out to kill the sniper by the looks of it, because no one else has it on him.
Yo, huge misplay by the Rubik. Rubik stole Doom, and then he wanted to use the Doom on the sniper. So he walks past the Shadow Shaman, who's currently shackling his own Terrorblade.
Yeah.
And he dooms the sniper, who's already dead anyway. If he dooms the Shadow Shaman there, he saves the TB.
Yeah, TB can turn around on Sunder as it stands. Shadow Demon actually still hanging around for a little bit too long, and that's a more freebie. It's Fire Dragoon's turn to just overextend a little bit and falter. There's a lot of extra net worth here that you shift around to clutch gamers that they probably didn't really expect. Look at this gold graph.
Well, that's the power of the Doom, really. Despite being behind by what? How much are they behind? 3, 4, or were they?
They were
behind
7.5k or something.
Yeah.
Before that.
Despite being behind by that much, just dropping one Doom, you know, still deletes the OD.
Yeah.
So it forces them. It forces them into very weird sort of like positioning in the fight. It basically deletes the OD. And again, the fight could have been much better if the Rubik just dooms the Shadow Shaman. So I think if you're fighting Dragoon, you still feel confident in your own abilities, or you should feel confident in your own abilities. But as we mentioned before, I think he'll sleep much safer with Lincoln Sphere in his inventory.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they realized as well. Alright, we need some defensive items, because it wasn't just the OD who got counterplayed by the Doom, it was also Fly Solo just completely like taking a Terrorblade out of the fight too, right? With the Hex, with the Shackles. So he couldn't really leverage any of his killing power. So he has a Hurricane Pike queued up right now. I would almost like to see him go for Lincolns as well, or even a BKB.
Can't really afford to do that, I don't think. Not on both heroes. I think on one is enough. The thing is, the thing is, on STB, you need the damage output right now, and I think you need to rely on your raw sort of stamina and like survivability to just outlast the Doom. So just build it, you know, Skadi, Hurricane Pike, whatever, like all those stats items, all those like pseudo survivability items, and then just power through it. Because if you start building into these defensive items, I don't know, I feel like you fall off significantly and you sort of like give away the advantage. Yeah, you can get doomed, or oh wait, they can just trigger the Lincolns with like the Shadow Shaman and then just doom again, or like the Doom can pick up a purge, the purge creep and just trigger the Lincolns that way. There's a lot of ways to play around that, and I feel like
again, it's not just a Doom, right? It's also all the other stuff. This is the Shadow Shaman, there it is, the Hex again onto the Shadow Demon here, Shackles on top of the War Trap got brought down, the cards, 4 stars galore everywhere, but now the Terrorblade can do some damage in return before he falls, his illusions will be cleaned up, and alright, try, even surviving here just barely with a couple of health points in the back. They just need something here. And they've been too far across the river without that something.
The thing is, I just don't think they should even be fighting right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's my main issue. Like, you bring up good points about, you know, there's a lot of stuff to deal with, you know, that technically would require Lincolns. But my point is, if they don't fight right now, they can just build those items in a way so they don't need the Lincolns. Because right now, if they want to fight, they desperately need the Lincolns. But they should just avoid those fights. If anything, go for pickoffs, maybe split the map, just get those like Scotties onto the Terrorblade, and then even if you doom him, it doesn't really matter. In this fight, they didn't even have to doom him. That's how much that's how easy it was for them to kill him.
Exactly. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter what kind of item you want to go for in this instance. The point remains, you cannot really easily take these 5-on-5 engagements anymore like you used to be able to. So going across the river without having a lot of vision, I mean, even with vision, there was a smoke available and whatnot that led them into it. They still engaged into the fight without having anything extra on compared to the last time they lost this kind of fight. So, absolutely right there. And as a result, Clutch Gamers, they've got some new wind under the sails, if you will, right? That gold advantage completely almost down at the 0 mark again. Experience, very same story. Fly Solo, I mean, he's getting to levels of 15 now, so you have the extra cast range to work with. Things are starting to fall into place again, and they have stabilized. They have stopped that downward spiral that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and that's really important with the lineup like theirs. You know, the sniper, of course. Like that's the thing. You know, you look at the sniper's net worth. Oh, he's like 3rd highest in net worth. But then you look at his items. Oh, he has Hurricane Pike and Mask of Madness. Obviously, he also has like 2.5k gold in his bank, but still. The point is, net worth doesn't always tell the whole story. You also need to like look at what it actually translates to and how it is distributed. So their lineup, yeah, it's great that they're catching up in net worth, but they also like it's not enough just yet. They need more time, and just because that one fight just buys them so much time. It's like buys them another 5, potentially 10 minutes where they can just farm in peace. But then also they shouldn't get too comfortable. I feel like just because they won that fight, they should leverage that and just try to go for a gank here or there. Not necessarily all 5 of them, but maybe just like 2-3 heroes like Doom, CK, Shadow Shaman. Just invade the jungle, try and intimidate the opponents. Because again, Doom is a secured kill in most cases.
they have itemized towards it. I mean, Doom with a complete max mobility build. You have Phase Boots, Jumps, Blink, and Shadow Blade. You also have the Blink and 4 stuff on your Earth Bit on top of this natural mobility, so they have ways to get in quickly with these initial heroes, and then Fly Solo, if he's in the general area, he should have enough time both for him to just come in for the Hex and Shackles and whatever he would need to throw out. So it's, for now, having other plans though, with the new changes to how illusions don't get instigated by Ro8 anymore. It's been a buff to heroes like CK, who can just use that to go in, do the extra bit of damage on top of the minus armor that you have from a W. But Fire Dragoon, they know that this is happening, coming in with the hook shot, being blocked by the illusions here. Disaster, not really getting to do anything, and has to be lucky if he gets out. Glimmer Cable and show that here.
Yeah, I'm not... I mean, they didn't really lose anything, so nothing really bad happened, but I'm not a big fan of contesting the Roshan. The thing is, they knew it was happening, and they knew they... I feel like they should have known they were going to be too late anyway. So they should have just tried to, you know, push out the other ways. I mean, they sort of did that. Bottom and mid lane are starting getting pushed out, but, you know, make sure that, yeah, they get the Aegis, but after the Aegis, they all have to just TP back and defend the lanes and push out the waves again. I don't know. This dire lineup, they need a little bit more time, and I think they should play patiently, just wait for it. Though, as I say that, they do have the Lincolns on the OD, and it feels like they want to smoke up. Yeah, Rubik just bought a smoke as well. It feels like they want to smoke up and do something with the Lincolns, even though I don't think they should, just because the Terrorblade hasn't acquired a new item since. Actually, never mind. It's all in his stash. For a second, I thought it was actually his quick buy, but it's actually all of his stash. So, all right.
Apart from that extra Band of Elven skin, a far more create camp that will have that. But the problem is, even with the smoke, even with the Lincolns, like OD can't really rely on the OD damage anymore, because Sniper, he has Aegis, he also has the BKB, and Chappie is also able to build that up. So the Arcane Orb is not going to do the trick, right? You need the Terrorblade, and he still is just sitting on this Manta style. Hurricane Pike is useful and all, but it's not the crazy big damage item. And Hookshot once again on illusions though here. Oh god, look at this! The Doom coming through on the Terrorblade this time. What the Shackles are going to focus on him. Nice little cogs pushback to cancel that at least, but damage has been done. Now there's the BKB comp player just making absolutely sure that this Terrorblade is not being denied or whatsoever. Fly Solo showing off his extra Hex, extra Shackles, securing the killing spree for the Sniper.
Huge plays.
Huge plays, yeah, for Turios, but it was like a triple stun or something?
Triple stun, that was a huge play. That set it up beautifully. I think pretty much everybody that got stunned there died as well as a consequence. So they now get to take the one tower with the Shadow Shaman Woods available. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to go for the next one as well. Shadow Demon still in the backline, so I could see him maybe cutting some waves here and there. But no,
it's too risky.
Top lane, CK gets caught out. It's not enough to kill him.
Third of his health points are left. Now he can start to try and turn this around. The stun, the Hex to follow. The Shackles are there, and OD has bitten off a bit more than he can chew.
Honestly, they didn't even chain that properly. I mean, there's like, if he doesn't, well, they obviously still get the kill, right? But if he doesn't get a couple more hits off, I don't know, maybe...
All is well that ends well, Skin.
Yeah.
Don't question it.
Anyway, this is troublesome. OD tried to go for a cute play there, but again, yeah, he's second highest in net worth, he's highest of his own team, but look at what it translates to in terms of his own items. One of which is a pure mobility item in the Blink. Then we have the Hurricane Pike, which in a way is also more defensive more so than aggressive. And then we have the Link. And then we have a kill mid.
Shackles into the wards. Easy kill indeed. And Clockwork, he tried to help, but that was just helping Clutch Gamers. The wards in a decent position, I believe. I think some of them can reach. Three of them. Four of them.
Four. Alright. Looked like that one wasn't going to be in range, but then it just started attacking anyway.
Yeah. With a double catapult, they can certainly get this tier 2. And
they
still have it for like a minute, so they can either go high ground tier. Yeah,
Phantasm
they realize Phantasm.
Why not? Worst case scenario, you force out buybacks. Oh wait, there's no buybacks.
They also still have the BKBs, they have the Doom cooling off. Cooling down here, 5 seconds still, that's available. Clutch Gamers. Really winning in the clutch here, just with the way these teamfights have been going there in their
favor. Doom is all cooldown now as well. They could fake the retreat and just go jump back in if they wanted to, but nah. They're pinging at the shrine, so they're gonna go for that one.
Yeah. Played easy. This is an elimination game. Scoreline 1-1 in the series, so as easily as that game turned into the favor, it can also turn around as easily again, right? I mean, still Terrible 8 that we're talking about, still an OD. If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
While it is very true, it still feels like they just don't have any form right now. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Yeah, the second and third highest in net worth, but what does it translate to in terms of items, right? I'm not saying that these items are worthless or anything. It just doesn't feel like much when you compare it, or not necessarily even to the inventory of the other heroes, but more so the abilities. How does this like? It all comes down to the Doom. It all comes down to the control that the Radiant have. That they just can't deal with it. They can't outlast. If you can't outlast it, at least have some sort of like defensive item against it. But even the Lincoln Sphere is not enough. Lincoln Sphere is a start, but it's not enough. I mean, you saw the CK himself could trigger the Lincoln Sphere and still disable the OD, of course.
I feel like it's less about the items as much as it is about the initiation, about like finding these kind of control factors and taking them out before they can hurt you. Like Shadow Charm is actually an incredibly high value kill at this point, especially with the Blink Dagger that he's been able to pick up. That is even probably the easiest kill of the ones that they need to take care of immediately, right? The Doom, ideally you take him out of the picture immediately before he can get his ultimate off, but that it's much harder, right? He has Shadow Blade, he has the Shiva's Guard, also still the Scorched Earth. Makes it so much harder for them to actually kill him. So that's the thing, right? These kind of they're in a position where they need to make this kind of play, finding an isolated hero, taking him down. Maybe they can take a team fight, but this kind of position is one that you don't have entirely that you don't control entirely yourself, right? It's gonna come down to positioning of clutch gamers, and this is where things can really feel I don't know, almost hopeless, right? If you don't see these cracks in the armor.
Sure, and the thing is, yeah, they could go for pickoffs, but at the same time, their heroes, like OD is the only burst damage that they really have, and the heroes on the Radiant side, they're not only mobile, they're technically all fairly tanky actually.
Then it's something here, Lincoln's pop. Double 4-staff, alright. There was a Radiant scan figuring out, hey, someone's farming up here, let's try and smoke into it.
They did commit the wards for this, but aside from that, they pretty much get out of there scot-free.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom shrine has fallen.
Art almost completed on the CK. He's halfway there. Well, I guess more than halfway.
Oh, needs another 1500 gold or so. At this point, do you actually want to hold on to buyback here for clutch gamers, or do you not mind as much?
I think you have to play it safe. Or I think you should play it safe on certain heroes at least. Like the sniper should definitely keep his buyback. Actually, all the cores should keep the buybacks. If the Doom dies without using Doom, buying back is so worth it.
Yeah.
And also with Roshan coming up soon, if you die now, you give up Rosh, and you cannot afford to give up Rosh.
Yeah.
So you should definitely keep buybacks. So in case if you do die, at least buybacks to contest Roshan. But yeah. Right now, I think if you're clutch, you're in a really comfortable position anyway. Mostly because you know that you're ahead, and you know also that the enemy feels very intimidated by you. So I don't think they feel pressured at all, and I think they know that they can sort of like take it slow, but also just farm up certain items despite also saving for buyback.
Yeah. But now just controlling up the waves, trying to push them out as much as they can, and then Fire Dragoon doing the same thing here on the other side of the map. We see Alacrity shoving down this bottom lane. He's going for a sheep stick. That'll be helpful. But it looks like it's going to be a tier 2 up top eventually, once they finally get the creep wave going there. And after the wards, Roshan should be up 1.5 minutes on the timer. I like this positioning too here. Earthspit is already there, keeping an eye on things. Playing through some of these trees, get himself in a good position to just initiate him immediately with his blink.
In case anybody tries to defend the tier 2 top, he'll just be able to pop in from behind, but I think the Dire know better than to try and defend a tower like this.
Yeah.
OD is trying tried his best to push out the wave. Nobody even came to defend, so it's pretty obvious that they're committing fully to the top lane.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Dire just don't have a good way of sort of being really cheeky. I mean, we've cast CIS Dota before, where that Navi game where Sonika just runs behind the enemy lines and just kills the creep wave.
Oh yeah,
denying that sort of like push.
that was so crazy.
They just don't have that right now. Like they just can't go for those cheeky plays where just cutting waves, just creating chaos. You know, like the Eternal Envy sort of like theory, just creating as much chaos as you can, so the enemy doesn't even know how to play the game anymore.
Yeah.
Right now, their heroes can't afford to do that because the only real hero in a position to do that, both in terms of net worth and also just damage, is the OD. But OD is not really like a quick pusher. He just doesn't like destroy a wave and just go from wave to wave, camp to camp. He just actually takes a little bit of time. So I don't know. It doesn't feel easy, but I like how safe the dark side are currently playing.
Yep.
Because they have to.
Really no other choice. I mean, we're at a point where one mistake can almost cost you the game. I mean, Terrorblade does not have buyback to work with, for example.
He did go for the Link in the end. I think it's... In hindsight, it probably was the right decision, but at the end of the day, there's still so many things to cancel it that I'm not sure it's really going to be the answer. I almost want to say I would have preferred the BKB. Just because popping the BKB just allows him to hit. Yeah, you get doomed up, but if you get meta and BKB off, getting duped doesn't matter.
Exactly, yeah. Alright. Both teams just biding their time trying to establish control over the storage pit. It is up now. I think both teams would have figured it out by now. Grouping up like they want to contest this here. They smoke up. Right, they take the long way around. Might be unexpected here for Clutch Gamers, especially since I don't know, they're not even going for Roche. Not sure if they've scouted it out.
Yeah, I was just about to say I'm not entirely sure if they're 100% know. I mean, they are pinging it out now, so they'll probably set up for it soon. They do have one ward here, but I'm not sure that really is sufficient. Dire side though, they know people are around here, and they're already setting up, putting one sentry down. If anybody walks by, but they're not lucky enough.
Yep.
I mean, it's also fairly obvious. Rubik is like pinging back, guys. There's like a creep wave almost at our Raxes. Somebody has to defend it, and also this is pretty obvious.
Yeah, pretty much. Really like this decision. Just going on the high ground here, just holding that. You have that pre-warning with the smoke break in. Now, it's not. Doesn't care at all. I mean, just walks up, thinking about even throwing out the Doom. Right now, it's just the stone onto the Shadow Demon, providing that on that, forcing the other team to decide. All right, do we abandon this hero, or do we just come in? Right now, they're not sure themselves. With the Shadow Demon dropping down, they will have to walk all the way back to their own base eventually.
You know, I really wanted this offline Shadow Demon to be like a huge success, mostly because I think Shadow Demon is a fun hero, and I really enjoyed Pasha's Shadow Demon. But at the end of the day, the reason why the Shadow Demon worked for Virtus Pro is not because of the generally just the Shadow Demon itself, but rather the way they played the Shadow Demon. They played the Shadow Demon in a way where they enabled one core, and they had the Shadow Demon as like a fourth support effectively.
Well, the throw hookshot coming in here. They isolate the Doom here. He doesn't actually get to throw his ultimate off. That's a good start, but already lost the Clockwork forward. Now, on top of the wards, they have to abandon all these illusions, versus illusions, Chappie and his reflections. They tried. They got the Doom. Alright, that'll prevent the immediate follow-up push, but it did not prevent the Aegis going in the hands of Clutch Gamers. That as well as the cheese here. Chaos Knight holding on to that one.
Pretty much as good of a trade as I could have hoped for, honestly. Didn't even need to commit much to that Doom kill. Pretty good for them. Unfortunate, of course, that they can't contest Roshan, but I'm not even sure they could have at all in general. Oh, Terrible got up here for invisibility. Yeah, Scott has a Shadow Shaman.
Bit aggressive farming patterns here.
But yeah, the point I was trying to make regarding the Shadow Shaman, the core Shadow Demon. You know, for Virtus Pro, they had like a core Medusa, and then they had basically 4 heroes that could play around the Medusa, create space together, fight together, and then when it came to the late game fights, basically enabled her and just play around her. In this game, it kind of works with the Terrorblade because it can get the Terrorblade illusions. But it just doesn't feel like enough because the other supports, the actual supports, it doesn't feel like they offer too much. Once again, I come back to the Rubik, and the question, like, what has the Rubik done this entire game? He stole Shrapnel at one time,
yeah,
and then killed a bunch of people.
Pretty much.
That was it.
4
he
to
stole
13,
Doom
like,
once,
yeah.
and he didn't do anything with the Doom.
Yeah. I guess now he has the Serpent Wards, so it could be useful. But this don't die straight. I mean, this gold graph has not stopped climbing since that one fateful team fight in the bottom lane. And now it's just a matter of time until Clutch Gamers find their way up to the high ground. They have Doom back, and all his glory. They have Serpent Walls cooling down. They have the Sniper with like the Aegis, completed Mjolnir. Still a 9-second BKB on him. Chappie's down to 9 seconds as well, so they haven't even have really good timings on that. So what is stopping them now from just winning the game?
Apparently nothing. Looks like they're going to set up for this push, or like going to commit to this push at least. Well, as I say that,
the other lanes are pushed out at the very least. That's the one thing going for Fire Dragoon right now.
And they're also drawing the lanes. Guys, we can't push here if all our lanes are being pushed in. So it looks like they're going to fall back first, and then they're going to commit to a push later on, I guess. So effectively, Fire Dragoon, they bought themselves a little bit of time. But how much time was it really? What can they do with this time, right? What are they going to do with this time? Is there like one item maybe coming up? Doesn't really seem that way. There's not like one item that could potentially be coming up. This is rough.
Finish the butterfly on Terrorblade, so there's your damage item. If he gets the extra players here on these fights, maybe there's something, right? We've seen another Terrorblade earlier, right? That just
insane.
Yeah, that stayed alive in team fights, and all of a sudden the other team just drops lower and lower, and they keep dying themselves, regardless of the Terrorblade's ultimate fate in the end. But for now, kind of deal with some of these extra lanes, or at least the mid lanes. Wards are being dropped. Glyph already forced out. Counter wards. Alright, that works. No committal actually here from Clutch Gamers to protect their wards, but they still got the racks.
Damn, the middle racks fell so quickly.
Sniper hitting pretty hard right now. Also going for Satanic next here, so they'll replace the Aegis once that expires in a couple of minutes. Alright, so they're getting this time. But it's still like an uphill battle. It's always gonna happen. It always will be with this kind of a network lead. Up to 20k now. This is where statistically it becomes very unlikely that Fire Dragoon can turn this around.
See, that's why I want to see it. Not necessarily because I want Fire Dragoon to win, but I just want to see how a team pulls back from such a disadvantage. It feels like impossible at stages, especially even as a player playing this kind of game. You know that you're behind by like a lot. You maybe don't know the exact number, but you know that you need a small miracle, right? You need like mistakes from the enemy. You need the perfect execution.
It is. Smoke Up Dragonfly Soul drops down the wall, gets lifted up, and now the fight breaks out in front. They will click him down very easily in exchange though for Earth, but he bites back, TP's in with teleport scroll towards the shrine. Now Terrorblade Doom with the BKB, just walking out. As Chappie just dealing with one hero, whatever hero he can find, and this is Diaside retreating towards a Radiant base. This is never going to work out. Chappie finds another one, and all of a sudden, throwing the Terrorblade and the OD. Without supporting cast, they can do quite a bit. Saitama has to eat the cheese, but now get the Doom on a link. It's alright. It's a little bit too little, too late, unfortunately. They still get the hacks. They bring down the Terrorblade, and OD actually making his way out of there. Alacrity does have a TP, so he'll make it back home, but at what cost? I mean, you do have the dieback on the Earth Spirit. Doom is on cooldown. Phantasm is on cooldown.
You got the Aegis, I guess?
You got the Aegis.
Wait, did it run out? No, did they kill it?
Not entirely sure. Either way, it's not available anymore right now. There will have to be buybacks. There will have to be a buy from Terrorblade, I want to say. If they want to hang on.
Probably. This is so rough. This is really, really rough. It's so difficult to get into these fights because their soul initiation is a clockwork. If they had one more, like, better initiation, like, if they had something along the lines of the Sand King, I feel like they would be able to get into those fights much better, create more space for the Terrorblade. But instead, the Rubik, he's actually in a really good position to dispel the smoke, but what does a Rubik do in that scenario? Nothing!
Nothing, yeah.
Nothing.
We're shrugging here, but obviously you guys can't see, but yeah, it's... Yeah, he lifted... Oh, nice hookshot there, though. Chaos Knight trying to TP out.
There's nothing they can do about this. You can look at the CK. Running away.
Look angrily, hope he just cowls and admits defeat. Yeah, alright. Clutch Gamers didn't actually go for the push, right? They really valued their Doom more They really want to have that to be able to take a team fight. And more importantly, the Earthware, like, Try has been on fire this game. Wants to make up for his Night Stalker performance, I guess.
See, but, you know, it wasn't even necessarily his fault, right?
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
Really, really bad Night Stalker game. But now, this Earthspire performance has been totally on point. Gotta say, there's an entire, I mean, in total, like, the support duo for Clutch Gamers has been really on point in this game right now.
Yeah.
Fly solo, getting a bunch of solo kills even earlier on, and just in general, just making sure to always, you know, hacks the right targets, which isn't easy, really. He's been almost the main initiator for this team as well, like,
yep.
And that's kind of huge. Whereas on the other side, you know, we have like two supports that, I mean, the Clockwork obviously going in, but it's a Clockwork, so he's immediately dead.
Yep.
And then you have the Rubik that really just can't do anything. It's not even, again, it's not even the player; it's just the hero. I mean, this is the second time now where we've seen a Rubik being dead weight to his team.
Well, 47 minutes in, we're still in the game, and I guess despite that fight, they've kind of stopped the bleeding. Still hanging around at like 220k.
The thing is, I think this is... If this wasn't an elimination game, I'm pretty sure Clutch Gamers pushed in like 5 minutes or 10 minutes ago. But because this is an elimination game, they're going to wait probably even for the next Aegis, because they know one bad team fight, and it doesn't necessarily mean that King Dragoon comes back into the game, but it just changes the pace of the game so significantly. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just wanted to wait for Aegis, Cheese, and a refresher shard.
And it's virtually no added respawn timer. Right? It's back up already, so it's Aegis, Cheese, and refresher shard. In this particular game, for Clutch Gamers, it's gonna be so freaking useful. Like, you have multiple ways to go. You can either give it to the Shadow Shaman and say, hey, plop down 2 sets of wards, which basically guarantees that you get full set of Rex no matter what. Or what you can do is give it to the Doom and throw out Dooms on both OD and the Terrorblade if you can also trigger Lincolns, and he does have the Heaven's Helmet to do that with, right? Or he just has his Shadow Shaman do it for him. So basically 2 ways to go about it. One is focus on objectives, the other one focuses on just taking the team fight first. Either way, it's a huge advantage. And I'm really not sure how the Fire Dragoon can play against it. You're gonna have to try. It's not even just that, it's not even just a refresher, it's just the Aegis itself. It's still gonna be super useful, especially on Sniper, who's still always gonna be kind of squishy if he does get caught out.
Yeah, but, well, he does have a Satanic, so even if he does get caught out, you know, he could technically sort of, I wouldn't, region up again.
Yeah, there's no big stunts actually that could prevent him from right-clicking.
One thing that Fire Dragoon has done a pretty good job of is always making sure to push out at least 1 wave. You know, the bottom lane already knocking on the tier 3 actually, that's how far it was pushed out.
Yep.
So Fire Dragoon making sure that, yeah, alright, you get an Aegis, but at least you still have to clean up before you can actually try and get something done. Especially the bottom lane where they were already setting up earlier, so Fire Dragoon need to make the best out of the little space they are given. And, I mean, they're not picking up any new items, but, you know, they're making sure, you know, buyback-wise, they're set. If you look at buybacks right now, only the supports currently don't have buyback. Everybody else has buyback, and honestly, I think in the next fight, either the OD or the Terrorblade has to be the frontliner, draw the attention. Even if Doom is expended, well, I say that even though there's like double Doom probably with a refresher shot, right? But generally speaking, they need to draw the attention, just give one of the other cores the freedom to just hit. It feels like in every fight, neither the OD nor the Terrorblade get the opportunity to just hit people.
The smoke up the high ground into the mid lane that was exposed to the tower already going down. The lift onto the Doom does get the thrown out though on the OD, I believe. Yeah, there's a lot of trouble. Just all the focus on that. Immediate buybacks from him as well as the Clockwork. They did bring down Fly Soul and Shadow Shaman. The rest of Clutch Gamers now starting to walk out. Disruption finds the Sniper. Double force out gets them quite far away. They're continuing to chase here. They feel like they need to find something else, and, well, that's not what it is. BKB now coming through on the Doom. They bring down the Shadow Demon. No buyback in him. Hook shot in from Disaster. Finds Complay. He'll be able to trigger the Aegis. Oh, will he? Satanic procced early, as they're also trying to provide covering fire for Chappie, who does fall himself. Sniper will come back, but there's no support. Alacrity is there, so it's Terrorblade. It's popping him down. Even with Saitama coming through, and actually, never mind, what? He's still alive? Alright, he forced his way down there, never mind. Oh, I read that fight completely wrong, so Alacrity is down for the count. That looks way different here. BKB used, a couple extra right clicks, double kill for Calm player as he respawns. Now it's only the Terrorblade here. No Metamorphosis, so he needs to spend some time healing up. And all that is time for Crouch Gamers to finally look for more objectives here. They've been plinking away at these other buildings, other side lanes.
This might just be not necessarily game, but at least mega creeps.
Yeah, they have to. They're coming to 2 buybacks of their own on Chappie.
Alright, no, they're going straight for 2 points. They realize there's no buyback on OD.
Coming in again, the secondary Doom here onto the Terrorblade. Still tank enough, they should be able to make his way up to the high ground, but his support not exactly in the same position.
Good game called out.
GG, well played. Nothing to prevent Clutch Gamers from just doing objective-based game, right? This is something that my pub mates never do. Hit the freaking Ancient when it's time.
When it's time. Clutch Gamers, they prevail. They show us that, you know, they should have maybe been the tier 2 direct invite.
Maybe. Yeah.
Either way, strong performance from them. Yeah, there was this very shaky performance in game 2. Was it when they got overrun? But in general, pretty strong performance yesterday as well. They were by far the best team yesterday.
Oh, yeah. They dispatched in the beginning.
Yeah.
Just like that. That's super easy.
Not even funny to watch. Today, very convincing yet again. The laning stage, I feel like it could have been better. Like, there's definitely, and I'm very nitpicky here, of course, but, you know, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement, and there's things where, once again, if we compare it to the likes of, you know, TNC, Mineski, blah, 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 there's stuff that they can do better, and where teams like that would exploit certain flaws and certain mistakes. But at the end of the day, teams like Mineski and Fnatic already invited. So, team like Clutch Gamers, their biggest opponent in this qualifier is likely TNC. And I feel like this Clutch Gamer can take at least 1 game, if not, you know, 3 games off of them. Like, this Clutch Gamer looks really impressive. They look very promising, and it almost feels like they're always learning from their mistakes. You know, we saw yesterday a couple of mistakes that they already fixed today, I feel.
Yeah.
And it's just a question of whether they can learn from this best of 3 right now, because I feel like they should have learned a lot from this, or they should be able to learn a lot from this best of 3. Still a very strong performance to them, and unfortunately for all the Fire Dragoon fans out there, they won't make it to the next round.
They've been knocked out with this loss in this best of 3 single elimination bracket. It is brutal. It is no mercy all the way through. So, gonna have to try again for Katowice, I guess, because that's coming up next year as well. For now, that does mean that for SEA we have TNC winning up against the Vikings earlier. They'll be facing GeekFam in the semifinals tomorrow. And Clutch Gamers obviously making it through here in this second round of games. Happy Feet versus Boom ID is the other matchup. I don't believe that has wrapped up yet either. At least we don't have the result right here. So, probably Happy Feet, unless Boom ID can somehow pull it out. But we'll find out about that when the time comes. For now, we're going to take a break. We're done with SEA Dota for the day. Again, same time tomorrow. 7 o'clock Central European time and 10 o'clock for these 2 semi-final games.
Yes, that is the SEA schedule. Are we actually on for that, for the SEA?
I think so.
Alright.
I haven't heard anything differently, but yeah, we're
also doing CS today, though.
We are, yeah. We just keep changing the schedule around here with the 3 casting pairs that we have to make sure that everybody gets enough games to cast, but also gets to sleep in between. It's a bit tricky here with
it's a bit of a rough schedule, of course. You know, we have 3 casting pairs, and there's like, what, 4 or 5 regions that we need to cover?
Yeah, 4 regions.
4
SA
regions.
is being done by Moxie.
Right,
Shout out to her, by the way.
Yeah,
everyone seems to be forgetting about her, but she's doing a great job on the SA stream.
China obviously is going to be done next week separately. So yeah, 4 regions, 3 casting pairs, and I don't know. I think we've done a good job so far.
Yeah.
So I'm personally looking forward to CS. I know you've been casting them all year, so I'm sure you're also looking forward to that. Not sure which matchups exactly we're gonna cast, but everything will be available on Twitter. So follow either us, obviously, on Twitter. The tags should be somewhere, you know, at DragonDrop, at Skim Gaming. Obviously, also ESL_Dota2 or Join Dota. You'll find pretty much all the official information there. I don't know. I think that's pretty much it for us at SEA today. It was a lot of good fun.
Yeah, so do tune in again for CAS. ESL One qualifiers will continue at 1500 Central European time, so about 2 hours from now. Plenty of time for you to get some lunch. That's certainly what we're going to do. In the meantime, see you soon.